allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anthony?
Here.
Haley?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Cindy?
Here.
And I'm here.
Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the agenda? I will entertain a motion. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any public comment?
Hello, my name is Bill Vanderwood. This is basically, I need some clarification. When I was looking at your, the 2024 Board of Review notice that you put out on the website, I noticed that you had ratio and factors for personal property, but there wasn't any ratio or factors for the other categories, and I just wondered why that wasn't listed. Second, the tax rate requested that was filed with this Michigan Department of Treasury for Caledonia Township had the fire millage at 0.9925 to be levied December 1st. When I got my tax bill, I paid 1 full mil, and I just wonder why the difference. I've got 2 minutes.
Any other public comment? Okay. Supervisor. I really don't have a lot.
One more thing, Cindy.
Oh.
Change the date on the website for Tuesday. It says Wednesday right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already asked that one. The only thing I really have is that we're taking our time to draw on the north end part. We're going through the process. The state changed it, but we should have it done soon.
It's gonna be your turn. And you say I know they changed it.
I know you did on the calendar, but I don't know exactly where it's on there more than one place.
So,
I just asked them to look it over. Okay, the only thing I have is that is this even working? All the 1099s were sent out in January by the deadline.
Okay. Has everybody reviewed the minutes from January 14th? Does anybody have any corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 14th, 2025. I'll support.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from January 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Haley, do you have anything?
Just that I collect taxes until Friday without penalty, and I can legally collect till the 28th of this month, then I settle with the county.
Thank you. Anthony.
The planning commission met last Monday, and we went over the future land use map that's going to be in the master plan, and we'll talk more about that
Yeah.
later in the week.
Thank you. Jim?
It's your turn.
All right. Better hold down, don't eat it while you're up there talking. You better talk fast.
No.
Be careful.
Today's what, February 11th? Everyone remember tomorrow's Lincoln's birthday. February the 11th, speaking of Lincoln, 1861, several thousand citizens in Springfield, Illinois gathered at a train depot to see President-elect Abraham Lincoln leave for his inauguration in Washington, D.C. In response, he gave a brief impromptu speech from his railroad car in the middle of a heavy rainstorm. It was one of his most emotional speeches, as Lincoln understood that he may not ever make it back to Springfield, Illinois again. Lincoln's farewell address was truly his last farewell to Springfield, Illinois. He would never again be in Springfield alive. Now we all know that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April the 14th, 1865, at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., and would die the next morning. But also on April the 14th, 1865, the day that he was assassinated, Lincoln actually signed into law a piece of legislation which would create the Secret Service, one of his last official acts. Although presidential security tightened after Lincoln's death, the Secret Service that he authorized was not originally intended to guard the President of the United States. In fact, it had a much more mundane mission. It was to investigate and stop counterfeit money. So, 1865, at least 1/3 to 1/2 of the United States, or the American currency in circulation, was fake. 1/3 to 1/2. This was partly due to an old system of relying on state banks to produce money using approved designs and paper provided by the federal government. Now I'm just going to give you three very little known facts of the Civil War that you probably have never heard of. The Elmira prisoner of war camp in Elmira, New York, had 2 observation towers constructed for onlookers. These citizens paid 15 cents to look at the inmates. There were concession stands by the towers. They sold peanuts, cakes, and lemonade, while the men inside starved to death. There were approximately 1 million horses, for all the people that have livestock and horses. There were 1 million horses used during the Civil War. The horses and other draft animals had about a 7-month life expectancy during the Civil War. As many as 300,000 horses died. More than 3,000 horses were killed at Gettysburg alone. You don't hear about that. President Lincoln's personal copy of the Emancipation Proclamation would be worth millions today if it were still in existence. It was donated to the Chicago Historical Society in 1864, but it was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1871. The Saginaw VA healthcare system, probably all the VA healthcare systems, probably the one in Alcona, ambulatory clinics, surgery, administration, outpatient clinics, urgent care, they will all be closed for President's Day on Monday, February 17th, which is also Washington's birthday, which is the observed. It's all part of that Uniform Monday Holiday Act. So all the VA clinics will be closed February the 17th. March the 9th coming up. This is something new to me. This is National U.S. Hostage and Wrongful Detainee Day. Recently enacted into law in 2023, and it does request that the President of the United States to issue an annual proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe it. The U.S. Hostage and Wrongful Detainee flag is the official symbol which recognizes citizens of the United States held as hostages or wrongfully detained abroad. In fact, they just released an American today from Russia. This is under Public Law 118-31, approved on December the 22nd, 2023. I did order the flag and I planned on showing it this evening, but I haven't received it yet. I know you can't see this, but this is the statute that governs U.S. National Hostage and Wrongful Detainee Day. Bringing it back home here to Spruce, I have begun my annual inventory and the sort of all of our U.S. grade flags that we used during last year and were removed after Veterans Day. I also inventoried our U.S. flagpole flags. I found 11 bad gray flags. Would have been a lot more, but I replaced a lot of them through the season. And fortunately, I replaced a lot of them toward the end of our flag season, probably in October. So I only had 11 bad flags that had bent or warped dowel rods. And I usually like to keep a bunch of these extra dowel rods, but the flags were bad, the rods were good. So I was able to repair 10 of them. And the 11th one, I think I call it a civilian flag. A lot of people put these flags out on non-veteran graves. I don't like it, but it doesn't violate the flag code, but just my opinion, I don't like it. All the U.S. flags, we're going to need to order more, obviously. Both the gray flags and the pole flags, because we should always have the pole flags. We always should have two. One on the pole, and one ready to replace it should we have to. And we're going to need these flags prior to and have these in our hot hands at least by May 1st. By May 1st, because our first half-staff day, I believe, is May the 5th. Unless the governor or the president orders them down anytime between now and then. So just keep that in mind. We do have 207 vets. 3 of them get 2 flags because I say they get 2 flags. They were in 2 wars. So that's 210 gray flags, just to start with. And depending on the weather, we could replace between 50 to 80% of them. So it's 144 to a gross. 2 gross will get you started. Plus, like I said, I do have flags to start us with, but It's always nice, you're not gonna spoil. We order more than 2 gross, hey, that's great. Price don't get any cheaper next year. So, we'd have ordered like 10 gross 2 or 3 years ago, we wouldn't have this conversation. And we probably could have got them for half the price, so. Anyway, just a heads up on the flags.
Thank you, Jim.
I'll have the flag at the next meeting, I'll show you as well that detailing flag.
Moving on to business, we have the Consumers Energy franchise renewal. I know that Rich is here to answer anybody's questions, but I'm kind of gonna let you run with it because you've had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have anything to add,
Ooh, if I may take your,
feel free to. This is a consumer's franchise agreement, and this is no different than what we did with PID&G. It's just for use of the roadways, right-of-ways to deliver service. I guess it is different in the fact that PID&G put it on the ballot because theirs is going to be forever, and I think this has a term limit. Am I right?
Yeah, ours is for 30 years.
30 years.
Yep.
And they did theirs on the ballot because I think theirs is forever. So they don't have to renew it.
I'm not gonna comment because I don't know why they did that, but ours is typically for 30 years, and you're right, it's for us to be able to manage and maintain the existing infrastructure that we already have, and then also serve, you know, the community if, you know, there's new services that need to come in. So this is just basically allowing us to do what we've been doing for over 100 years here, so.
And once again, the Metro Act come into play with this, so.
Yep. So basically, the township board just needs to review, approve, or deny whatever you're gonna choose to do, and if you approve, it needs to be noticed in the paper for 30 days, and then after that, it gets enacted, and we're ready to move forward, and then whoever's in our positions 30 years from now can deal with it then, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Does anybody have any questions for Rich?
And this was sent out to the board
Quite a while.
quite a while ago, yeah. Yeah, I can make a motion to approve ordinance 2501 for consumers electric, consumers power franchise.
okay, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Yeah, so it's for sure, so.
I have first Cindy Smith, I say yes. Haley Rondo,
Yes.
Anthony Sobek,
Yes.
Tom Tice,
Yes.
Cindy Yapsey.
Yes.
You want to take a copy of this when you leave tonight with you? I have 2 copies ready, so
Yeah.
I can still scan it in and send it, but
Yep,
that way you have your hands on one too.
that works, thank you.
Yeah? Usually they do. Are you putting it, PIG did,
That's you, the township does that.
the township does it? Oh, they paid for the other one. Okay. All right,
You'll just have to
I'll
get-
scan it in and you can forward it on maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
One comment, just thank you for your time for reviewing that, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I think it was pretty neat that we had all that high wind and nobody was without power for a while.
Good.
Nobody complained about it either.
We'll take it, right?
No, no. Okay. Who's that?
Yeah, I got the dates figured out. And I went from the Wednesday, not tomorrow, the following Wednesday, 30 days to 28 days in February, so.
Does it have to be in the paper every week or just once?
Sorry, what?
Does it have to be in the paper every week or just once?
Just once, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, the truth and taxation budget hearing, I wanted to set the date for March 11th at 6:30, which is before, half an hour before our regular meeting in March. Make sure that's correct, because I,
It was Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Oh, yeah, March 11th, at what time?
6:30. Okay.
No.
I don't think so, do you?
No, you just have to post it on the door.
Yep. Yep. All right, the zoning ordinance, the revised zoning ordinance. The planning commission went through the public hearing properly. It went to the Alcona County Commissioners for over 30 days. And it's now before us to approve the planning commission's recommendation. And I want to add that the planning commission members that we have currently and the ones that were in the past that worked on this, they didn't take a blanket zoning ordinance and say, yeah, that's good. They went through this word for word, and it's a very thick book. And they made changes, and they did their, you did a really wonderful job. You did your job. So, anybody has any questions? And is there anything you want to add? No? You've been through it from the beginning to the end. Yeah. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the new zoning ordinance.
Support.
Do you want this on roll call?
Yep, and we got a new number, right? Because it's a new ordinance, right? So it's gonna be. Oh, so it's the ordinance book, not a new ordinance book. And it'll be effective when? Okay. Okay, sorry. Now I'd like to. I will go in reverse order. Copied it last night. Cindy Epsy.
Yes.
Tom Tice. Yes. Anthony Sobek.
Yes.
Yes.
Cindy Smith, yes.
Good job. Okay, and Ann.
You can?
I didn't want to be, you're doing a great job. Anthony, do you want to talk about the new zoning?
Yeah, so this isn't actually our zoning map. This is gonna be what's in the master plan for the future, possibly. Nothing on this will be like set in stone. It just kind of helps steer the township if somebody comes in and wants to
You
do
can look at it if you want.
Oh, this is Tri-Township.
You can,
This
is,
I
yes,
understand that. We're-
I know, but I'm saying,
this is for the
we're-
Tri-Township
Each
master.
township
Okay.
does their own map.
Do you want to see it?
and then it's all put together in one.
Actually, no.
Cindy. Yep.
one, I'll take it.
No, I just thought maybe if you wanted to look at it, you could.
I don't think I got another future one. So all this does is, like, if somebody wanted to come into Spruce and do something, this helps decide what could happen in the future. So this is the current one that you're looking at right now. It's in our master plan, Tri-Township master plan. There's a few things we changed, or proposing to change. So in the current one, it shows everything in Spruce as general residential. We would like to change that to general commercial in case somebody wanted to come into Spruce and have a business. Whether it be the store or one of these buildings here. So that's the only thing over there. And then the only other spots, which you guys won't be able to see it very well, on this one, is in downtown Hubbard Lake. So right here's the cutoff line for the commercial. We were just gonna expand it a few lots back case somebody wanted to do something. Basically behind where the community center is, from Bear Springs Road over to behind the restaurant. We didn't go all the way to Madison because there is residential right there, so we didn't want to put that possibility for commercial right up against
So
that.
there's no houses right there, is there?
There's no houses.
There isn't anything.
There's nothing down this road. There's a couple of coal barns and stuff, but there's no. And then over here, which is Alcona Septic basically, and then behind it, it is currently industrial, and in the current future land use map, it's commercial. So we were gonna leave that, switch it back to industrial, and just leave it where it currently is. So this doesn't affect anything right now, it's just if somebody wanted to come in here and use it industrial, they could do it, but that's currently what it's like.
So question, just because my lack of knowledge, so if it's industrial, is that also cover commercial then?
Different things in the ordinance.
So it's not, they could do up to commercial, like your tax isn't industrial tax. You're taxed on the use, not what it's.
Not what it's on, yep, I do know that. Okay.
So that's really it. Three changes to what's currently on. And then what we're changing it to actually lines up more with what it is right now.
What's around it?
Do you know if any of the other townships made changes to theirs? You don't know? Okay, just curious.
They were all gonna work on them separately and then have their boards look at it.
Okay.
Do you need a motion, Anthony, or you?
Yeah, we could do, we'll make a motion to change the future land use map to the planning commission's recommendations.
Support. Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Yes.
What was your motion? To change the future land use map to?
Planning commission recommendation.
You want these back?
Yeah, right now, I don't know how to use it. Thank you.
Ready? We received an application for a Class C liquor license. It is from Smoky's Food Service. I think I gave you guys a copy of it. Yes. Basically, we'll need, if the board approves, a resolution to approve that application so we can apply to the state.
Is it a resolution or a motion?
It should be right on the top.
Resolution. Complete this resolution or provide a resolution.
So it'll be resolution 2501?
Does Smoky's Food Service want to say anything?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anthony Jakelik, 6588 Hidden Lane, Hubbard Lake. My wife and I are proud residents of Caledonia Township. Most of you here along, have been listening online or what have you, know that we own the Mountain Bar and Grill. This Saturday will be our 4th year anniversary of owning the restaurant from Jim and Dan. And we've did nothing but provide great food and great services to the community. And now we're expanding the opportunity to grow that portfolio to Hubbard Lake. And I think it's going to be great for the community. I think it's going to be great for the township. And we're going to continue that great food, that great service, and be here for a very long time. So thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the consideration.
Thank you.
What's that?
That's so exciting. When you open, we love it.
That's my
Yes.
favorite place to eat.
Thank you.
Can I go ahead and make a motion?
Unless there's any other discussion from the board?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2501 for the application for Smokies Food Service for a Class C liquor license to be located at 5992 and 5782 North Howard Lake Road in Spruce be considered for approval.
Support that.
Roll call.
Yep. Anthony,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
I say yes. Cindy,
Yes.
Haley.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
How long do you think? 2 months, 3 months?
May 1st
May
is the
1st.
plan. And the name's gonna stay Smokies, but it's gonna be a little twist of the mountain in that, so,
Okay.
just so the
Can
tourists and everybody coming back up knows it's the affiliations there,
Yep.
without me having to try to reinvent the wheel come May, come summertime.
Okay.
So you're putting the bear back?
Uh,
Will the bear be brought back?
She won't bring it back to me, so. I'll have a new bear.
Okay.
I know the guy that carved it.
Yeah.
I promise, it'll be a new bear.
You better.
Does he get a copy of this?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The library agreement. We've had several meetings with the Hubbard Lake Community Association Board, and this board came up with 4 items that they would hope would be part of the agreement between us and the Hubbard Lake Community Association in regards to the library rent agreement. I received an email. The four things that we had asked for was that the library remain the Calvin Will Memorial Library, that the lease would be for 2 years. The township would agree to pay $500 a month for the first year, $525 for the second year, and that the Hubbard Lake Community Association would seek a millage for the operation of the Community Association building as a whole, which would be in the general election of 2026. The Hubbard Lake Community Association declined to agree to any of the 4. The county librarian has asked that we go back to the table once again. I am open to that, but I need direction from this board on what you want to do.
I think that if we were even to consider that much money for that amount of time, they need to consider more hours. Because as it is right now, a working person can't go to that library. And if they're gonna keep the same hours they are now, it doesn't do people that work any good. And I was gonna ask, I should have before I called you, I was gonna find out what time the school bus goes through Hubbard Lake and find out what time that library closes. Because if the school bus goes through at, they get us at 4 o'clock and they close at 4 or 4:30,
4 o'clock.
kids can't use it anyway.
It's 4 hours.
Huh?
The hours are 1 to
5:30, okay.
And the bus goes through at 4.
I am not 100% sure for it.
Yes, yeah. Biggest thing is if we want to go back to the table again.
I also think that the millage would tell us what the community wants. Huh? Several, how many donors out of 800 people, the voting people in the community? It's not probably not 800.
It would also, in a way, I don't see an issue with the millage because this building is gonna cost a lot to maintain. What happens if in 2026 Alcona County loses their library millage? You know, you're still, I don't know, it's just a thought process. You can ask for a small millage and actually have extra money. And it doesn't matter if you're non-profit. What? Why is it?
Because we're nonprofit, 501c3. Yes.
What is the fire department?
Under the.
What is the fire department? And the fire department millage is, the fire department was through the Caledonia Association for a long time.
That would be through the Alcona Library. We have to take care of that. And I think that might be
Or
part
the
of the
township.
conversation we had before, right?
Or through the township. The millage is through the township. But if we could talk, instead of just saying no, I brought it up in the meeting with Julie. We were very Do you want to talk?
Yeah, I have some thoughts, but. So my biggest concern is we've been to the table, what, twice now? 3 times? And so, you know, we had our wish list of 4 things, all of which per the email reply we got, none of them are being considered whatsoever. I don't see what going back to the table is going to do again. We seem to not be working together or making concessions like, yeah, I can do this one, but can't do that one. Like, it's just no. Like, that's the answer we're getting. As far as the millage, I guess I feel like, and maybe even somewhat agree with them, that if the county has a millage for the library, why are we involved at all? I mean, that should be supported through the millage. And if they don't want to ask for a millage for our township, so I get the county, and they have their county library in here, so, and they have satellites, and it's nice if townships come. But if our township won't go for a millage, because there's already one at the county, that says a lot then, if that's what they're saying to us. If they're saying we won't because the county is, then why are we paying at all?
The issue I see is this building is not just a library. The building is a community center.
You're not being asked to pay for the community center, it's just the rent from the library, such as what you're paying for.
Well, that's what we were told from the beginning, that this is how much it costs us to keep this building, this is how much. Yeah, but we
So I don't know, I think that was, maybe there was just a misunderstanding.
How do you pay the rest of it?
Donations, the way we built the building.
So for here till the end of time, that's how you're gonna pay your maintenance and your utilities and the rest of it? Wouldn't it be easier just to have another? Have income?
I'm scared to move our library if we don't have a future plan of being able to keep the building we have. Like how it's going to sustain itself. People aren't going to fund it forever and ever and ever. I don't see, unless 2 people want to volunteer, I don't see the point going back to the table. Because the answer's always been no and always will be no on all of it.
Did they come back and ask what they're willing to negotiate, or?
No, they just said no to all of ours. If you'd like to write the email, I'll give it to you.
No.
No, there was no, well, we'll do this, we'll do that.
Well, I think the decision was, or part of the discussion was half of it was going to be paid by the county library, so for half the rent, and then the other half would be paid within the township.
Which we agreed to pay.
Which it's just a small sum, it's only like $100 less than what they're currently building for twice the space in a brand new building.
$100 more than the first year.
Well, 125.
But we agreed,
which doesn't include
we
the-
agreed to pay that. We agreed to pay that. Okay, so what do you guys guys wanted to.
It says right here that we'll agree to the 500 for the first year and 525 for the second year, but we wanted to do a 2-year lease instead of a 5-year lease in order for them to get themselves on the 2026 ballot. And since they're refusing to do that, they will only do a 5-year lease, not a 2-year lease. That is what they said.
Okay, it's up to you guys. You wanna think about it for a month? What do you want?
Yeah. I say we just talk to the library in Harrisville and see if we can come up with something for what we currently have.
That's
So,
why I'm asking if they want to go there today.
Denise already responded.
Yes, that's why I'm asking,
okay.
that's why I'm asking this question, because Denise sent an email and asked us to sit down again. So that's why I'm asking the board if they want me to do it again. Okay.
I think we can sit down with Harrisville and work out a month-to-month lease with where we're currently at. I think this is a no-go because there's no compromise and so other. So,
I think Denise was actually agreeable to a lot of the items, was from my understanding.
she can be, but this board wasn't, and we asked for 4 things, and you said no to all of them with no other solution. So I don't know why we would talk again. I say talk to the library and see if we can get a month-to-month at our current location.
That's what we can do.
Yeah, but we need to get a lease signed then because ours expired.
Okay.
We've been running on month-to-month, but it's not working either.
What are you doing to them?
I don't know, it doesn't like me today. I mean, I'm loud, I don't have to have it, but you do. I don't know, there's just not this
Okay. Who do we got first? County
Commissioner.
Good evening. I just have a couple things tonight. We've been talking about the internet and the fiber. I think you probably know a lot more now.
I missed that meeting. It was horrible, yes.
I was out of the country too. But anyways, we are at the next point now where we are getting letters of support from elected officials. So I think treasurers, clerks from all the townships, along with the county, it has to be in by April 1st. And I think the letters are almost ready and just to have signed. Like I said, it looks really good. I mean, you don't want to get too excited. But another thing I've talked about is the recycle program.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going right now. As of right now, the state doesn't have money.
So how much did the county invest in that already?
We have, so we had a 3-year grant. What it is, in Alcona County was supposed to get $75,000 the first year and $75,000 for the next 2 years. The first year was supposed to go to putting this all together. So the grant, they haven't given us the grants, so we haven't paid any of our bills for that. And now the state has changed their tune and say that we will reimburse you guys for everything that you paid to this. So that's where we're at right now on that. And they have some meetings trying to figure out how they're going to do it. I know they had a patch in December they were going to try to get passed where they were going to raise the tipping fee from like 36 cents a unit to $5. But obviously it did not get passed because they didn't have the votes to even open the chamber and vote on it. And so that's that. And as far as the library, I mean, I am now on the library board. That's one of my committees, and I was really impressed just at all of what's going on there. I had no idea how busy and what they do for the community. So I would recommend if you want me to help resolve anything, I mean, I think it'd be a great thing for the community. I know yeah, and I think they have plans like for furniture that they're doing and stuff. I mean, sometimes it just needs, I mean, there's got to be some give and take, like as a naming, maybe somebody's paid money to have their name, I don't know. But,
Yeah, and I'm not against it.
Yep.
We can just say where we're at too, and pay $350, so, I mean, we're gonna keep the library, it's just the location.
Well, it's incorrect, because you're not just paying $350, because you're also paying the heat.
Yeah, being electric, so it's
And
approximately $450.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, but our rent itself only, not including utilities, is $350. So I wanna make it clear, I'm not against the library, it's just where it's gonna be located.
like I said, I'm willing to help or do whatever you need to have done. That's it.
Thank you.
Right now, it's winter time.
Did we send all the recyclables to Lansing? It's a here you go, you take it.
You don't know how that works.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bills to be paid. Does everybody get a chance to review the bills to be paid? Any concerns, questions?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Phyllis, on your questions you asked, the first couple I would contact the assessor and ask him or the equalization department and ask them about the ratios and so forth. But on your millage, the millage on your taxes this year are from, next year it'll be 99, or it'll be 0.9925. So this is the old millage at one. Next year, the millage that just passed will be on your taxes at 0.9925.
So when I pulled the papers out of the state treasury, I should have pulled what year?
What year is she paying right now, Haley?
2024.
And the millage goes into effect for 2025. We just voted on it, Phyllis.
Also keep in mind, you have to roll back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a full bill, so they have to roll back, so that will equate to something.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes. Oh, what were you doing this for? If you were at an auction, you'd have bought it. Okay, motion to adjourn. Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
It's all over with, buddy. You talk too long. Thank you, that's the best thing. We're all excited about it. It's gonna be
So the ink was right. See you later. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.